Good evening, Dr. Crosby. It's Sharon Calhoun again, and if you'll recall, I teach kindergarten, and this is my second experiment for the class. This one is going to be an experiment on, we're going to create Oobleck. It addresses the physical science standard of SKP1, where we obtain, evaluate, and communicate information to describe objects in terms of materials they are made of and their physical attributes. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to use our senses to classify objects according to their physical attributes. Now, previous years, it has been a requirement of kindergarten to teach the states of matter. We still test and can this year and will continue to test on the states of matter, but it's not a Georgia standard we are required to do anymore, but we're going to do it anyway. So we do it every year, and this one is making Oobleck, and we're going to discuss the states of matter of a solid and a liquid, and we're going to do so by doing this experiment. I tie this into a book, a Seuss book, Dr. Seuss book of Bartholomew's Oobleck. I read a very abridged, condensed version. It's very long for kindergarten, and then we talk about this Oobleck. So Oobleck is made of cornstarch and water. And what we do to make Oobleck is I have the students then look at and touch the two things, and they will tell me what this is, a solid, a liquid, or a gas. Well, it's not a liquid. Here's our liquid, the water, and they tell me that this is a solid. We ask questions about, can it move? Can it breathe? We go through the steps of what's a solid, liquid, and a gas. If I did all that, we'd be over our 5 minutes. Then we're going to state the standard. We still think it's developmentally appropriate, and the state says that they removed this standard because it's not developmentally appropriate, and it's to focus more on literacy and foundational skills. So back to the experiment. I put the cornstarch in one bowl. I put the water in the other. And I will ask, what do they think is going to happen when it mixes together? And the students are asked to, and I let them, in my classroom is a mess when this is over with. I bring a vacuum cleaner in and I clean it all up myself, but it is everywhere. I have some really cute pictures of my students doing this. So they touch the cornstarch and they describe it as, oh, it's soft. And then I'll tell them to smell it, and we use our senses to smell it, and they'll see that, it doesn't have really much of an odor. It's a little bit salty smelling. But then we talk about the water, and they touch the water, and they tell me this is a liquid, this is a solid. Then we blend the two together. And I don't know if you've ever done this before, but it's pretty cool. So you take, and it's equal parts of cornstarch and water. So I have them, they'll play around in the cornstarch for a minute while I'm coming around to give everybody their little scoop of water. And then you mix the water in. And so what happens when you do this is it changes the properties of that solid and liquid back and forth, so they can feel it changing from a solid to a liquid. So when you mix Oobleck together, what happens is in the bottom of the bowl, you will have a piece. And as you pick it up, it starts as a solid, and then it becomes a liquid. So you can see here, there's pieces of the solid here. So it starts as a solid, and then it becomes a liquid. And we talk about how it, what it is, and they enjoy playing with it. It looks like it, when you're looking at it, I don't want to make this mess. When you're looking at it, it looks like it would just be a liquid. But if you dig to the bottom, then you can get the piece that becomes the solid. And when you're short on your mixture, you just add a little bit more cornstarch. And then you can make, I'll show you how it, if you have too much of one, and we talk about how it has to be equal parts. If you have too much of the cornstarch, then it becomes a clump, and it won't melt. It won't change back into it. See how it'll be now? It'll be a solid. It won't change back, but you see how it's starting to drip on the edges over here. So you have to make sure that consistency is right, and if you do, then you can take a big clump of it like this, put it in your hand, give it a second from the heat of your hand, and it will go from a solid clump to a liquid. And the kids think it's just the greatest thing ever, obviously. But you just lean down into the bowl and you separate it out. And if you have the right mixture of liquid, of the water and the cornstarch, it will turn into this stuff called Oobleck. And so therein we have it. And you're supposed to do it with green food coloring, but I don't do that with kindergarten students. So again, it explains to them how it goes from a liquid to a solid, and then we talk about the different properties of a liquids and solids. And now I have to touch my computer with Oobleck on my fingers. So anyway, I'm Sharon Calhoun again. I teach kindergarten, and this was our science experiment of Oobleck, where we're discussing the states of matter of liquid to a solid.